I know lately The Last Dance has been a topic of discussion. I would love to hear your thoughts so far about The Last Dance and what it would have been like for you playing during the 90s.
Um, it's definitely, something I'm kind of locked in on watching right now because I haven't watched like a lot of Michael Jordan, or, like what they're showing right now. I mean, obviously I watched a lot of highlights, but just being able to see what type of person and player he was is definitely, something to watch. I feel like everybody's loving it right now. And, um, I mean, I wish I could have played back then. Definitely one of the matchups I wish I could have had against Jordan and Kobe is probably my top two. Wish I could have played against those guys.
Yeah, that would have been really fun for sure. So when you saw what the Bulls and Michael Jordan had to do to overcome those Pistons, that lock-in approach, literally no off season. They were right in the weight room. Did it kind of motivate you when you were sitting there watching to want to do more? And did you learn anything new?
No, I loved it. I actually had that mindset. I said my freshman year in college when we lost in March Madness. The next days when we got back to Murray, I was doing the same thing in the gym, in the weight room, just trying to get bigger and better to take my team farther the next season. So seeing that is definitely something I loved, watching how they all bought in together as a team to work to get better to win the championship.
So I want to kind of go back to your high school days a little bit. You know, to be the greatest or to even make it into the NBA, which we obviously know a lot of people will never have the luxury of saying that they did. What did it take for you in your younger years to get to that level? Did you have to make a lot of sacrifices and maybe not live life like your average high school kid?
I think it was just me believing in myself first. Um, I didn't receive a lot of offers or anything, so it's definitely just me trying to get better. Late in my junior season, going into my senior year, I received some offers from schools, and after that, it was just me telling myself that I am good enough to play on whatever level, and just continue to work and get better at my game, and everything will pay off.
When was that mental shift? You know, a lot of guys have aspirations as kids. I want to be in the NBA. I want to play. When did you know that you have what it takes?
I would probably say my junior season. I grew a couple inches. I was short at first, couldn't dunk. Athleticism started to kick in, so it definitely helped with my game. Being able to finish around the rim, and also being taller, being able to play different positions. I actually played like the four on defense in high school, so I was undersized, but I think I was like the third tallest on the team. So
Wow.
yeah,
I
so
remember you thought that.
it was definitely something. I felt like after that, being able to go out there and compete with um, guys like that, and being able to prove myself, and still do what I do, affect the game and win. I feel like that's when it kind of switched over for me that I was good enough.
I know your dad played an integral role in developing you and helping you become the player that you are today. I want to know first and foremost, what was some of the games that he would have you watch growing up, or certain players?
Um, it wasn't really any certain games or certain players. He would just turn on whichever game that was on TV, that the channel we had, and whoever it was, I would have to sit there and just watch the game and study it. He really didn't force me because he didn't want to like force basketball on me. So most of it was just from me, being locked in and loving the game. I just started watching a lot of basketball, and then once I was able to get to high school where they recorded our games, I started watching a lot of my games over, like after the game. So I feel like starting young kind of helped me with now, like watching a lot of film and, still trying to get better and see what I can get better at on the court.
What's the biggest piece of advice that he gave you?
Um, Basically, I can't achieve my dream by sitting on the couch. Basically, it's like go get it. And he told me that If I don't believe in myself, then who will?
I
So
like
it's like stuff I still live by to this day, whether it's getting up and going to work out to get better instead of just sitting around, laying around, and always believing in myself, having confidence in myself, but also be humble.
I think that confidence is key. I feel like that's make or break with a player. As we see, it separates the goods from the great. You got to believe that you're the best. You got to have that confidence that you belong out there for sure. So I know that when you went into college, but you mentioned with high school, you weren't getting heavily recruited. You went to Murray State, great school. But again, like you mentioned, it wasn't one of those sexy schools like a Kentucky or a Kansas or a Duke. But I think there's that perceived notion that you have to go to one of those schools in order to be seen, in order to get a chance to get into the NBA. Um, what do you say to those people who think that you have to go to one of those top programs in order to get drafted?
Um, I would say don't worry about the name of the school. Go where you feel like is the best fit for you and going to help you achieve your dream. I feel like that's how I kind of made my decision. I felt like Murray State was the school for me, and also was the best fit for me. So that kind of played a big part in my decision.
Your athleticism, you're obviously super crafty with the ball, but you're also a really good passer. Where did that skill develop? Because obviously you need to have a good IQ, high IQ for the game to be able to read the floor, be able to predict what's about to happen. When did that develop?
Um, I think it was kind of like I had to because I was short. So when it was like driving to the lane and dropping it off, after that I just kind of fell in love with, sharing the ball. I kind of, like seeing my teammates happy, build their confidence. So that's one thing I, started doing a lot. I would probably say my high school career, and then from then on, um, I just fell in love with passing the ball, which made me like a pass first guard, but I know you have to be aggressive at the same time. So.
Mm-hmm. So I know that you mentioned that you not compare yourself, but you draw comparisons to Russell Westbrook. Was he one of those point guards that you looked up to growing up, or are there other guys that you kind of like to emulate your game around?
He definitely was one. Just how he attacks the game, be aggressive at all times, and do a lot of different things on the floor. I try to do more than one thing on the floor. So that's, I feel like where the comparison with his game come from. But I watch a lot of, different guards. I try to take something out of each top guard game and, add it to mine. So I studied a lot of different point guards from past to current. And I just, I would say try to be the best job, but it's still just learning basketball.
Being in the spotlight basically 24/7, you're always having to be conscious of what you're doing out in public, what you're posting. Um, how were you able to get comfortable with that? I mean, is it still something weird for you to have all these cameras in your face and people wanting autographs or interviews? How do you handle that?
I mean, it's definitely tough. Um, you know, it's hard to say no to, your fans. So when you do, sometimes they get kind of frustrated or mad or say you cocky, but I feel like they just don't understand, what athletes actually go through with everything. And, always being around cameras. Sometimes you just, want to be yourself and be free, have your off time. And sometimes you just get rushed. So it's definitely kind of tough. I can't say like how I personally handle it because it's something different almost every day.
So, what about those moments where you're under pressure during a game? Take me to a game. You guys are down by 2 points. You got to hit a three-pointer for the game winner, or you got to do something where, whether it's make a pass or whether it's take the shot. How do you tap into that mentally?
I mean, I love it. I love when the card is stacked against me. I feel like it kind of motivates me. My dad used to say that don't ever be afraid of the moment. It's either you gonna be the greatest of all time for making that shot or the one that blew the game. He always told me to don't be afraid to be either one. So that kind of played a part of my mindset, attacking, pressure.
So it's kind of like next play, next game mentality. You know, you do what you
Yeah, it's like you're built for this moment. So like here you go. So I mean I love when the pressure is against me.
So who was your favorite team growing up and your favorite player?
I never really had a favorite team.
Okay.
I just like players. It depends on the time. I went through a lot of different players, guards. In the past, I used to watch like Penny, AI, a lot of players, Nash. Then I started, watching Rondo play. He was that pass first point guard, affect the game in different ways, to Westbrook, to Chris Paul. Now you watching Curry. Now I get to see guys who are around my age go out and, affect the game and help their team, and Trae Young and Luka. I feel like there's a lot of guards to play this game that was great. And, I studied them and watch them and a fan of them all.
And I'm assuming that watching players who are playing now definitely helps you when you have to play against them.
Yeah, you kind of know what they're gonna do. So
Who's your
it's
favorite guard?
definitely.
Who's your favorite guard to play against?
I'll probably say Kyrie.
Oh,
Kyrie, it's a tough guard. Score at all three levels. Do a lot on the floor. Definitely, one of my favorites.
is there anyone that you're close with, or who you've met, who you've reached out to for advice, or just someone that you talk to on a daily basis?
I really don't talk to a lot of people on a daily basis, but I have come in contact with some guys. Mainly, I think it was like at the beginning of the draft process. I had guys like reach out, say like they're here for me. I'm sure everybody's seen the video. I think when LeBron said it. So it's a lot of guys, I can reach out to if I ever need to, and I appreciate them for that.
Mm-hmm.
But mainly, I still just be listening to the same guy I've been listening to all my life, which is my dad. So